Doc, by God, by God, listener. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. The Doc is feeling the hype. ...
Bro.
Divisional round, NFL. It was fun to watch, Doc. I mean, what was your initial opinion of the weekend games?
It was very competitive, and
is
really,
a great word.
Yeah, really, I think we're getting treated to really the best postseason we've experienced in a while. All COVID aside, probably the best football that we've seen. I mean, we're seeing all of the X's and O's come out. Nobody's again blowing anybody out. We're really just seeing some really, really competitive football.
Absolutely. And let's get started with our recap. Let's start off with Saturday night, afternoon actually, as the Los Angeles Rams travel to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers. As the Green Bay Packers comfortably wins this game 32-18.
It didn't seem like it was comfortable in the beginning. Like it seemed like, hey, the Rams were competing, and then the second quarter was dwindling down, and they got that last that late quarter touchdown. But I don't know, like I felt like the Rams had a chance. Like they really were in the game, and I was kind of shocked. I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, like Rodgers is supposed to be like really, really dominating them right now, but they held them in check. The run game was really working for the Packers all game.
I know they were particularly very upset with Aaron Jones stuff.
I am, but this performance wasn't as good as it could have been in that Week 15 game. I'll let it go. But I know Rodgers Montreal'd me. I won't ever forget it. But I mean, the Packers won. I mean, and like you said, it's pretty convincing. I'm interested to see how this moves on, because 32 points versus the Rams,
who
is pretty
essentially
impressive.
Made life a living hell for Russell.
True. Very true.
The previous week, and people were, laboring on about how these Rams and this defense can, put a stop to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But you hear me say it before, and I said this every single week. You're playing against the pissed off Aaron Rodgers.
But you want to know something? I mean, this 296 yards and 2 touchdowns is pretty modest. And there's actually a testament of how good the Rams defense is, because Devontae Adams had 9 catches, but it was only 66 yards. So, I mean, they really, really played them tough.
Is it more because he got played tough, or is it because Aaron Rodgers was spreading the ball out? Because he spread it pretty far.
No, I feel like if Rodgers wants to go to Adams, he's going to go to Adams. 9 catches for 66 yards. Oh, he was going to Adams. I don't know how many targets he had. He was going to Adams. 10 targets. So he was going to Adams. It was just, hey, the Rams secondary, obviously, led by who, was like, hey, you're not going to be just catching these long passes. You better take these short ones, but don't think you're going deep. And I saw how upset he was when he gave up that touchdown. Because obviously there seemed to have been some type of miscommunication. And for those who don't know, of course, I'm talking about Jalen Ramsey, who is probably one of the better corners, or best corner right now in the league. And that's giving him credit. There are at least a few that are really, really good, but he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, I will say this. I'm glad that he didn't sit there and say that he's the best corner in the league, because I felt like that's more of a death sentence to a lot of these corners who would say that.
That is a good point. I really feel like with cornerbacks, there's a window in which you can make that claim. You'll be that best corner for, let's just say, 1 to 4 years. Yep. But somewhere in there, the wide receivers start to learn and study your tendencies, and they just learn how to get you. That it happened to,
Revis, it happened to
Revis,
Richard Sherman, Josh
Sherman.
Norman.
Josh Norman had the big breakdown, and his decline really happened overnight. So it's just one of those things. Like Ramsey's the guy right now, but there's always another corner.
Yeah.
In the shadows waiting to come up.
Yeah,
So
LaShawn Lattimore is a great name as far as like top corners in the league. He's really, really good.
he is, and he always plays. Well, we'll get there. He always plays tough. But we'll get there, I guess. I'll talk about Mr. Lattimore. We'll talk about Mr. Lattimore.
Well, before we go there, let's talk about the Saturday night game as the Baltimore Ravens take their rushing attack over to El Mafioso in Buffalo as they go up against the Bills. The Bills essentially shut down Baltimore in the second half. And that off. I mean, they held it down. They only did 3 points. But that second half, they essentially shut them down. As they won 17-3.
You want to know what Baltimore needs? I think, and this is going to sound crazy, you're probably going to be like, no, that's never going to happen.
Well, let's hear it.
Baltimore needs Derrick Henry. That's what they need, because that's the only real way I could see this running attack really winning a Super Bowl. They need a big back. Like when they won the Super Bowl, they had bigger backs. You had Jamal Lewis running all over the place.
Yep.
Like they just had bigger backs, and that was the one thing that they had going for them. Nah, I don't know about Ray.
At the time.
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna pass on that one.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would say this. I think they need a receiver that actually poses a threat.
Well, so the problem is that I don't think they really care about receivers, and I think that's the problem. Whoever their offensive coordinator is right now, like I think they need to adapt what I want to say what Tom Brady does, kind of what Big Ben does, screens, slants, kind of what the Saints do with Drew Brees. Like it's really quick and short. Because Lamar, although he has a great arm talent, he's still, in my opinion, learning how to read, these NFL defenses and really grasp the concept of all these, all the different schemes that they're running. But they don't. I feel like everything is predicated for them on the run. It's RPO, or it's option, or it's
offensive coordinator
inside zone.
Greg Roman.
And I never liked Greg Roman. Even when he was in Tampa, like I never liked Greg Roman. I think he was also I want to say he was in San Francisco also. I just never really liked Greg Roman. I always felt like he wasn't a guy that, like, once he got onto something, he doesn't change. Like,
yeah,
this is what we're going to do,
San Francisco teams that made it to 3 straight NFC Championship games, including the Super Bowl against the aforementioned Ravens back in 2012.
Right. Maybe he wasn't with Tampa. Maybe I'm thinking that he might have just been with San Francisco. And I don't know. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like once he gets into something, like, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't doing nothing else. So everything is predicated on that. So if that doesn't work, it's over.
He's from New Jersey, and we normally give love to people from New Jersey, but this person we cannot. I'm sorry.
Nah, he ain't getting no love from me. But I mean, like I said, we'll see what they do. This is his second stint with the Ravens.
Yep.
So hopefully
this was one of the 2 that Doc unfortunately didn't get correct. Like I was saying, the Bills definitely have something going with them.
Right. I mean, like I said, I didn't think they were bad. I just said I felt like they were going to shut down the passing attack, which I mean they held Stephon Diggs the best they could, but still a modest 206 yards, 1 touchdown, which probably came in the second half.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think they were really on the field that much, honestly. Like it was really Baltimore trying to. They actually was only on the field for 24 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. I felt like Baltimore. In reality, I thought Baltimore should have won. They just couldn't get in the end zone.
Nope.
And that pick six, so wasn't there a pick six that went back? Yeah, come on. That's the kind of stuff that just can't happen.
You saw a pick six for the Ravens that they got? Or
yeah, for the Bills.
Yeah. Well, there's one for the Bills that was legitimate, but yes.
That's what I mean. The legitimate one. Definitely a legitimate one. But I don't know. I just felt like it just wasn't the Ravens game. It's not the same. It wasn't the same feel last week when they knocked out the Titans.
Yeah.
It was almost as if that was their Super Bowl.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Urinated Tree for that hilarious video, though. That was hilarious.
Oh, no, I believe you.
Next, let's head to Sunday afternoon. The game people were talking about, the Cleveland Browns taking the dog pound over to Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. As the Chiefs won a nail-biter, 22-17.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Yep. So for those that don't know, and of course we didn't mention this in the prior game actually, but Patrick Mahomes did go down with a concussion. They didn't rule it a concussion. They're just saying he's going through concussion protocols. Andy Reid is very adamant that he'll definitely be playing on Sunday. I got nothing. I mean, Chad Henne came in. He was able to do it. He nearly blew the game with that.
He really did.
Because that was bad.
It was almost like he was like throwing the game.
Yes. But he managed to redeem himself with that fantastic 9-yard run that led to the quick flat pass over to.
It was actually a 14-yard run. That's why it was so spectacular.
It was 14 because there was a first and 15 or something like that.
3rd and 15. That was third down. That's why it was so big. Yep. Well, because think about it. So the first play they threw it, and that's why it was kind of weird. And then the second play, no. First play he ran it. Then the second play he got sacked.
Yep.
And then the third play he ran it and got the 14 yards, which. Had he not dove, and I was talking to my dad about this earlier, had he not dove and just like kept driving forward, he would have got the first down without having to go for that fourth down. But he dove, which really almost hurt himself and been in a protocol itself. But
I don't know who their third QB on the roster would have been.
Yeah, I have no idea, but he did it, and I felt bad because, and I think we both said that the Browns probably shouldn't have punted it that last time.
Nope. I would have went for it, even though it really didn't matter at that point because it would have been the end of the game either way. And the fact that they blew 2 timeouts early on in the fourth quarter, which was just bad. That was just bad coaching.
But you want to know what this game is all about, though. This game is all about the dropped pass. Not the drop pass, excuse me.
The fumble into the end zone.
Yeah, Rashard Higgins, my EFL wide receiver. He just lost that ball, man. That was a tough break. I know he was sick. I
can understand that.
Yeah.
Honestly, as much as people focus so much on that,
there was a lot of other things going on.
There was a lot more that happened. It was a lot more that happened. They had a drive that ended in the pick that probably shouldn't have been. But after that fumble, they had a pick. They had 2 touchdowns the next 2 drives after that, and then they had the punt. And if they have to get it over again, take that punt away and go for it on 4th. Honestly,
yeah, you go for it, and
I mean,
Um,
despite how Doc and I may or may not feel about that particular fumble play, because of course there was also the helmet to helmet collision that also occurred.
true. This is true.
That wasn't the catalyst towards the end of this game.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
But I mean, ultimately, Henny came in, and won the game. I mean, that's ultimately it. He won the
Yep.
game. So they're moving on.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
now
and I
the
give all
Chiefs.
the kudos and props in the world to the Browns for shutting a lot of people up, breaking curses. Now it's a
Mm-hmm.
matter of them doing it again next year.
The Chiefs are doubling down.
The Chiefs are doubling down to the AFC
So now we
Championship
got
game.
yeah.
But finally, we have
Oh
the
yeah, this game.
nightcap
That's right.
game
I forgot about this game.
as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Buccaneers.
Oh, they upgraded to Bun now? Buccaneers?
No, I would call them the Buccaneers.
You said bum before, then you back up.
No. It was really Bun. It was always
Gotcha.
Buccaneers.
Gotcha. Okay. As they travel to the Big Easy to take on the New Orleans Saints, Doc, the Bucks did it. They told you they'll do it.
Wow.
They said, "Who do you think you are? I am." Who that said they're gonna beat them Saints? The Bucks.
We did, yeah. Huge game by the defense, which is the question going in. A lot of people said that Tom didn't have a good game, but I mean, I don't think anybody had a good game this weekend.
I feel like people just want to. So the first thing that I got, because I was watching NFL Network post after the game stuff, and all they kept doing was just giving like half-hearted or like backhanded compliments towards the Bucks. And I'm just like, they just won the game. Like they won the game.
Yeah, they really did.
They didn't do this, they didn't do that, but they won the game.
Right. And like I said, a lot of credit to the Saints because they're really a good team. And I said it both times that they beat us. I was like, listen, guys, like this Saints team is really, really good. The Bucks just had their ticket this time, and that forced fumble by Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yep, to Jarrett Cook.
Yeah, that was probably one of the greatest things I had seen like all season because it's like you want somebody to make a play, and then when you finally see somebody make a play, you're like, oh my god, he did it. Now I will say this: when Devin White caught that interception
on the go route on Kamara.
Yes, it looked eerily familiar to when Derek Brooks caught an interception in the Super Bowl. Like it was like almost the same vibe. So I felt it when they had that interception. Then the next one later on, it was like, okay, we are really playing football right now. Like we're really playing defense.
Yep.
So I was just sitting there and I was like, you know what? We got this win. Like, because you saw me. I was like, listen, I'm not gonna be spiking no balls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna wait because it's Drew Brees back there. You know what I mean? This is Drew Brees.
Drew Brees wasn't Drew Brees at all. Drew Brees.
I don't care what nobody say.
Wait,
Drew Brees
what was it that Doc said? Doc said, and I quote, Drew Brees stopped playing well after Jameis touched the ball.
So normally what happens is, what do? They bring in, Taysom Hill, he runs, and then Drew comes back in, he passes a few times, blah, blah, blah. After Jameis threw that touchdown, Drew didn't throw the ball over 15 yards.
He didn't throw it over 20 yards the whole game.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think he did throw that one touchdown to Traquan Smith over 20 yards. I think that was 20 yards.
I think that was the
No. That was the first one. The second one, he threw a touchdown to get them 20 points. He threw a touchdown to Traquan Smith as well.
Yes. Yeah, 60 yards.
It was 6. Okay, so that was the only two passes they threw that were like really, really like, great throws. But other than that, it was like, I'm gonna dink and dunk. I'm gonna hand the ball off to Kamara, and I'm gonna manage this thing. But when you look and you see those turnovers, I mean, we won the game, and it wasn't just that. It was the protection. Like the first two times, I think the last time we played them, they sacked Brady 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this time it was like
only 2
nothing.
sacks.
And this is without one of our starting offensive linemen.
Yep.
So yeah, I was pretty
sack, actually.
Yeah,
it was
sack.
only 1 sack.
Yeah, and like I said, I felt like we just played. We just played better.
Yeah, it was a very good game.
Shout out to the Bucks. I mean, they proved me wrong, and I can eat that.
I went 4-0 this weekend.
You did, and I guess it's time for us to really give those predictions again.
Let's do it.
So we'll start with the AFC, the Buffalo Bills versus the Chiefs. I think Andy Reid is bluffing.
You think that he's putting them in a false sense of security?
Yeah, I don't know if Mahomes is playing or not. I mean, I don't know. I won't believe it until I see it.
And it's going to be hard. Say anything until the day of. They're going to.
Well, they have to. I think. Well, they have to designate by Thursday. Right, they have to designate whether he's on the injured. Huh?
Isn't that just for like roster spaces?
No. They have to designate the injuries by Thursday.
Gotcha.
So we gotta see if they are actually like if he's on the concussion protocol by Thursday. Then we gotta see what happens. I mean, but this I don't know. Dang, I don't know.
Who's your pick? Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Bills.
I am also going with the Bills.
Yeah, I think that what they're doing right now is playing some really, really good football. And if Mahomes is out there, he might not be 100% still, regardless. They almost lost to the Browns just now. So
you can't say it in such a demeaning way, though.
It is a demeaning way because the Bills are better than the Browns.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down.
And I think you struggle with the Browns and you come back in and, I'm not buying it. I think that the Bills are going to try to get back to the Super Bowl. I don't think Diggs can afford emotionally to let another one slip through his hands. So I think Josh Allen has grown enough to beat the Chiefs.
That was exactly where I was going to go with it. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs they have something special going on. That whole team has something special going on as well, too. Their defense has really picked it up. And not a lot of people really talk about like how well their defense been playing like the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that game's not first.
No. This is the money game right here.
I don't know. I think Tom versus Aaron is the money game, personally.
Speaking of the money game in Doc's eyes, we have the Tampa Bay
Buccaneers
taking on that bad man who is pissed off at the world. Why are you so angry? Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Doc, who you got?
So the one thing I'm concerned is that people will automatically keep looking back to that first game and say, "Oh, well, the Bucs beat them before." And that's a very, very dangerous game to play because the same thing could have said about the Saints, but they were saying the complete opposite. Now, the other part is that people keep talking about the weather, saying it's going to be cold, it's going to be snowing, not knowing that Tom Brady played in New England. He's played in snow before. Obviously, tuck rule, all that good stuff.
Which was also the anniversary of that too, which is hilarious.
Exactly. I believe this game is going to be close. Yeah, I believe this game is going to be close. I think it's really going to come down to the run game, and then for me, I think it's going to come down to the run game. Aaron Rodgers is going to come out there and try to pass on this defense because that's what makes the most sense. But I don't know. Come back to me.
No, we need an answer. We need it now, Doc. We're putting on the line. No. This is it. This is it.
I really don't have an answer. I hope the game ends in a tie.
Packers,
and both
Doc,
teams.
who you got?
I don't got anyone. I'm so confused and conflicted.
What does your gut tell you? We need it. We need it recorded, Doc. Give us a team.
I feel like a team with Bay in the title is going to win. That's the only thing I can really.
Nope. We're not accepting that at all. You are not milking us. We need a team, Doc.
The Bay team is going to win, man. That's all I got for you, man. I don't really have anything. It's so tough. We're talking about the first team that has a chance to go and play in the Super Bowl in their own home stadium. But we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who's really, really mad. I got nothing, man. I don't know. You know who I want to win, obviously.
Then say that.
Okay. Well, I want the Bucs to win. Of course, I want the Bucs to win. But I don't know. I guess I'll just say the Bucs then. I don't know. It's gonna be tough, man.
It took us 3 minutes to get that from Doc.
I mean, you could have went, man. You could have went.
No, I'm not letting what I say influence your opinion.
No, it wouldn't influence, man. I mean, because it really wouldn't have mattered. I think that it's gonna be tough regardless. Tom, I don't think it's just gonna come down to a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't even expect to be here. That's why it's hard for me to make it another part. I really feel like they sandbagged.
He did have the Saints last week, folks.
I did. I think they sandbagged a lot of games because it just don't make no sense. Like now that I got just sit here and think about it, it doesn't make sense that I don't even know how we won 11 games. I feel like they don't even add up to 11.
Okay.
It's all, yeah, just go ahead.
I'll get my prediction out of the way.
Wow.
My prediction for the NFC champion is the Bucs.
Green Bay Packers.
Stop here.
For ultimately, the buck stops with me.
As the Green Bay Packers defeat the Bucs in a very, very close game. I don't think the secondary can really hold up to a healthy Green Bay wide receiving core.
I don't know. I think that's a wash.
I got the Packers. I got the Bills.
I think it's a wash.
Well, there's no ties in the conference championship games, so.
You said what?
There are no ties in the conference championship game.
No. There's no ties. I think it's a wash. I think most of everything that we know about this is a wash. The running, the passing, the defense. Only thing they have maybe better is secondary, but I don't know if it's going to matter.
We'll find out, folks. And including with that, we'll be right back with more Debate Amongst Friends right after this.
Well, between Jack's back taxes and the Fred Hayes show, I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.
That's an excellent show, Austin.
Thank you very much, Houston.
We got a couple of housekeeping procedures for you. We'd like you to roll right to 060 and know your rates.
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
We're just not good enough. We don't
obviously chemistry, talent-wise, just everything. And it was clear, like I said, these last few games, they just, from the beginning of the game, they were just aggressive, veteran team, obviously, championship team, and, one of the best teams that we have in this league. I love this city. I literally, have done everything that I can. This situation is crazy. It's something that I don't think can be fixed. So, yeah, thanks.
How do the Texans look right now?
Like the worst franchise in football. The worst. Number one worst in football. I don't even have to go into how great Deshaun Watson is. They got rid of his boy and one of the best receivers in the game with maybe arguably the best set of hands of all time, certainly on a very short list, Larry Fitzgerald, a couple other guys, in DeAndre Hopkins. This organization did that without telling them? Could you imagine Joe Montana in his prime? They call him into the office. Yeah, Joe, they don't know. He's watching SportsCenter and he finds out they traded Jerry Rice. It would never happen, right? The disrespect that they've shown Deshaun Watson. They hire a firm for hundreds of thousands of dollars to go on a search for a front office, for a coach, and they come back and suddenly the owner decides 11th hour, no, I'm just going to hire this other guy. Deshaun said, would you just listen to me? I'd like to give some input. You don't have to take it. I'd like to have some input. They say, no, don't worry about it.
World champions for the first time in franchise history.
You did it, Houston. You finally won a championship. Doesn't it feel good after over 20 years of futility? I think you'd rather win a football title given the circumstances, but a break from the agony of baseball is sure to be a relief. What with always playing second fiddle in every realm, it may have been won by blood magic, but now is the time to celebrate. A great age is ahead of you. The Astros are a dynasty in the making. The Rockets are championship contenders. The Texans are veering on the right path. At the end of the day, the city's packed with hell, for a winner was worth it.
I knew he was going to start with that, folks.
Yeah. It seems like these last 3 weeks, I'd say this last month, Houston Stars have just been acting up. I feel like it started with J.J. Watt's apology. It just seemed like around that time, that's when it was like, okay, everything's starting to hit the fan. Shortly after that, James Harden goes on and criticizes his teammates. He wants a trade. And then a week later, Deshaun Watson says, they didn't even ask me about who I wanted them to bring in for GM. And they're dang sure not asking me who I want to bring in for coach.
Yep.
So I want out. Then a week later, James Harden gets out after, really saying that he couldn't win in Houston with this roster the way it was made up. He just wants to be somewhere else. It's not solvable. It's just not something that he wants to do. He loves the city of Houston, but it's over. And then this past week, Deshaun Watson pens a letter. I just can't do it. Can't do it.
Nope.
You play to win the game. Yeah, he just can't do it. Houston, we got a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
They're 1 for 1. I think James getting out is huge. I've said my piece. I'm okay with the deal. I like what Victor Oladipo brings. Clearly, this week he played against the Bulls. We lost because you still have guys coming together, guys on the injured list, guys trying to figure out what their game is in their mid-30s. You just got a few people that are trying to figure some things out. And you also have a rookie or two.
So talk about Boogie Wonderland with that last comment.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go too hard on Boogie because I know he's still trying to come back from injury. He's just trying to figure some things out. But I feel bad for Steven Silas because it's like he's really trying to coach this team and he's doing a good job. The Rockets are really competitive, even with and without James Harden. They've been competitive. I can't say the same thing for the Texans. Despite the heart that those like J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson have, I think once they got rid of, one of the best receivers in the league, it's like everything kind of went downhill from there. It's like you would have been better off firing Bill O'Brien on the day that he thought about trading the best wide receiver in the game for a pack of Skittles. Now, hindsight 2020, it's, not even Skittles. It's like chiclets.
Not even chiclets. It's like
it's like
candy that you picked off the ground.
It's like a broken up peppermint that you found in between the couch.
Yikes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, do I eat it? It might be open.
It's
I
like
don't even know.
Piece of gum that you get underneath the church bench in church.
Man, it is just no good. So Deshaun Watson wants out. I don't even know where to send him.
I don't know either. I know Sports Illustrated came out with a list. I don't agree with number one because, of course, they said the Jets, but I don't want that for him.
I saw the Panthers.
They did have the Panthers, but I don't think their problem is in QB.
I don't think so either.
They did put in the Patriots, which I think would be a great move.
It would be interesting. I don't know if Bill would give up his draft capital though.
Yeah, because now they're not going to try to give stuff away for a bag of Skittles like we mentioned before. So
I could see, and I don't know if he was on this list, but I could see him being traded to the Washington Red football team.
You did that on purpose.
I did. The football team, I think, would be an interesting look. But I don't know. He definitely can't stay in Houston.
No.
But then again, neither can J.J. Watt. I think J.J. Watt's time in Houston is probably over. They probably haven't said anything, but I think it's over.
So real quickly, that list is from 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Jets, 49ers, Dolphins, Steelers, Saints, Patriots, the LV Raiders, the Bears, Washington football team, and the Denver Broncos.
So I did see the 49er piece, which is interesting. I mean, I don't think they should give up on Garoppolo if he can stay healthy.
Felt like it's
the whole team.
It's not something that they can control.
Right. I didn't like the Dolphins giving up on Tua. I wanted to get your take on that.
He's no what's the name of that QB who got kicked out? Haskins. Yeah, he's no Haskins. So
he's not a Haskins, but
I feel like the problem in Miami was they had two QBs who could have just started.
Right.
And I even said it before the beginning of the season. Sit Tua the first year, have him learn from Fitzmagic. And then year two, he plays.
Right. It would have been so easy. And the same thing could have been said for Jalen Hurts. You would have been better off just letting Wentz crash and burn all the way to the end.
You didn't need to wait for too long for that.
But still, let it happen. Let it go through its whole course.
Yep.
And then from there, okay, next year, we're moving on. But now, they fired the coach. Wentz and Hurts are still there. Now the next coach that comes in, he's got to decide, hey, where am I going here? Which is why I'm looking at the coaches that they're looking to bring in, and I'm like, this is going to be a major issue.
Yep.
But let's not get too far away from Deshaun here, who's the real subject here. I don't know about those teams. I know he needs to get out of Houston, but
I can see
I
Chicago.
don't know.
I can see Chicago. Chicago has the weapons.
They do. If they
They don't have the
pay, what's
QB.
his name? If they pay Allen Robinson, they'll have the weapons because I don't think they paid him from the last thing I
Not
remember.
yet. No, they haven't yet.
And that's a big deal because, Deshaun, I'm not even sure anymore because I feel like any team that gets him is going to have to change their offense. That's the only reason I might think that a team like San Francisco would be a good team or Panthers is because obviously Joe Brady would be able to use Deshaun's gifts a little bit more than he uses Teddy. I love Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
They're still trying to work out their running back situation. Not having Christian McCaffrey was big. So I think you can't hold that against Teddy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Carolina would be a good landing spot because they didn't have Teddy and McCaffrey for the whole year.
I can't see the Raiders finally pulling.
And they were still competitive despite that.
Right, exactly. And I can't see the Raiders pulling the deal on Carr yet because he plays okay. It's everything else. Josh Jacobs, disappearing from game to game. The defense, not being able to stop, a cold.
A cold, yes.
Yeah, it's like
there is a dark horse.
Not a dark horse.
And we talked about this off and on. But this, because it just came to me just now.
Oh, don't let it come to you.
No, it just came to me. And I'm saying.
Oh my God, he's about to say it.
The Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
Because they haven't paid Dak.
Dak got $30-something million. Still, they're gonna pay Dak, man. I'm not buying it. They might. It's possible.
No.
Let's see. Where's Deshaun? Deshaun, how many years does Deshaun Watson have left? Take a quick look. How many years he got left on his deal? Because Deshaun, he's making about 27, 28 himself. So let's see. He has I think one more year left. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He has 5 years left. Excuse me.
Yeah,
he has one more year left of his 1 more year left, I think, of his previous deal, and then he goes up.
Yep.
Yikes.
So his contract is all the way out to 2025.
Oh my God. His joint says base salary $32 million. Yeah, so he's gonna be crank it, Jerry. I don't know.
See why I said that.
Jerry, this could be a golden opportunity for the Cowboys to decide whether they want to keep Zeke.
Ooh.
Because you think about it, Zeke for Deshaun Watson is something that they might be able to do straight up. I mean, they did Javidian Clowney for that tackle and the first round picks and all that stuff. Zeke, do you want to keep Zeke? Pollard's been playing pretty well. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with
do
Zeke.
you trade Dak and Zeke to the Texans?
Okay, that's too much. I understand why you say that, but I think
and Dak coming off injury. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get. He's like a box of chocolate right now.
That's what you did there. That's actually pretty funny.
No, but Dak probably go to the Cowboys. I mean, Dak probably lead the Cowboys, go to the Giants with the clapper.
He's heading into free agency this offseason.
Yeah. And
which is why I'm like, I think they might want to pull a move, which they could actually get Zeke into that deal.
Yeah, Zeke, I don't know. Deshaun. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, Dak says, you know what, I got 30-something million. I'm going to go rehab and, he he has to stay in one of those markets where he's not getting heavily taxed. So it's either going to be Texas or he goes to Florida or one of the teams in Florida.
He could go to Florida.
I mean, he can come to Tampa and sit behind Tom for a year if he wants to.
You would say that too. You are not going to pay a QB to sit on the bench for $37 million.
He can come take the league minimum to sit behind Tom for a year.
He's not going to do that.
And then he take over Tom's salary the next year.
I mean, they could draft a deal.
Theoretically. Yeah, they could.
Theoretically, but it has to be the perfect storm to let that.
No, I think there's gonna be a lot of moving pieces. I expect the Lions with their new regime. I don't know what they're gonna do with Stafford. I could see them letting Stafford go.
Yeah,
I could see Deshaun, and this is where the difference between Houston Rockets and the Houston Texans comes in. So I listened to Raphael Stone, who said he worked with James, even though he didn't have to.
He worked with James. Stafford. He only has one more year on his contract.
Yeah, get him out of there. Raphael Stone worked with James Harden, said, "Where do you want to go?" He said, "Brooklyn." All right, I'm going to go make a deal. So he made a deal. Listen, Raphael Stone could have sent James Harden anywhere he wanted to. But ultimately, the Nets gave up a gazillion first-round picks. We went over that last week. Go back and watch that or listen to that from last Wednesday. And we got Oladipo.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans, by no means, and in football, period, I feel like, they don't care. They're sending you where they get the best deal.
Pretty much.
So if you wind up in Jacksonville, which is highly unlikely unless they're getting up that number one pick, because that's what they would want.
Of course.
If I'm the Texans, I'm looking at the Jets only because they have a top 5 pick. You know, I'm going to call the Cowboys because they have Zeke, even though we just got a running back last year and now we're looking like fools. We need to reset. Who can help us reset? We need a star. Hey, let's go out and get Zeke. Zeke could come in. We run that zone scheme that Zeke could really thrive in. Let's go get Zeke. If we're still going to run that off, if they're still going to run that offense.
Cowboys have the number 10 pick.
They could take the number 10 pick. Or you trade him to the highest bidder, which at this point, you know you have to get a first-round pick or a supreme talent. Yes. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I also heard, and catch this, this is something that you're hearing here first. Don't be surprised if this happens. The Rams head coach and Goff, McVay and Goff,
disagreement. Yep.
You know, not on the same page. Hey, let's do a swap. We'll give you a first-round pick, which is in the 20s. What do you say? You know what I mean? Like
the Rams giving up a first-round pick, or the Texans giving up
the Rams giving up a late first-round pick in Goff for Deshaun.
I think Goff's contract is pretty high, though, right?
It's about the same. Yeah, it's about the same. I don't think he's making much more or less. I don't think it would matter at that point because it's the off season. It's about the same.
His contract currently is next year is going to be 10,000. The following year is going to be 20. Mm-hmm. But he has a potential buyout, and then the last year is going to be 21 million.
Yeah, so we're talking about 21 million. In the offseason, it doesn't matter, though, because people aren't re-signed. So a lot of those contracts fall off the books. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter. So you trade them and, you know, let the Rams figure the rest of that out. You know, they'll have to, you know, work everything else out.
Yep.
But that's a option. Like, hey, we don't want Goff anymore. You know, even though he played through a broken finger, we don't want him anymore. McVay is the guy, and if you believe McVay is the guy, then say forget it. Bring in
But
Bring
I
in
mean,
the
there's some
righty.
potential. We want the righty.
But that's just speculation on my part of something that could happen.
Well, I mean, we went through a few teams that legitimately have a shot of getting the talents of Deshaun Watson. We have the Rams, we got the Cowboys, we have the Jets,
Washington football team, the Jets,
and then also Doc also threw out there his Bucks.
Well, no, I was talking more about the hypothetical with Dak if he decided that he wanted to, But then there's still the Saints. I mean, maybe the Saints don't believe in Jameis, even though he throw the best throw of the game. My dad actually said if Jameis would have got put in the game, he might have lit us up.
He actually probably would have. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
which would have been really, really bad. I would have hated it.
That would have been bittersweet.
I said that would have been so poetic. I would have hated it. Oh my God, I would have hated that so much.
And
but
then your boy will be sitting there giving all you Bucks fans the business, even though he is.
I probably would never talk. I probably would never talk to him again.
He probably would be unfriended real quickly. Actually.
Unfriend. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
No.
But I think that Deshaun does have opportunity. Hopefully, like James Harden, he's allowed to be traded. But I don't think Deshaun cares where. That's the only difference. Deshaun doesn't care where. He's just like, get me out of here. James is like, I want to go to Brooklyn. I want to go to Philly.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to go somewhere where I can win right now. Where Deshaun's like, I just want to go somewhere where I can compete.
I'm just glad it wasn't the freaking Lakers.
Which I was really surprised that he didn't say the Lakers. But if I'm the Lakers, like, why would I want to destroy my core?
They would have got rid of their whole bench,
right?
And
which ultimately
get people from off the waivers.
I mean, which I would have enjoyed because I would have liked to have gotten the likes of Kuzma and some of those guys. I would have been okay with that.
Kuzma. I told you they were not getting rid of Kuzma whatsoever.
Nah, honestly, I think they're going to trade Kuzma.
I don't think
before the season. I really believe that. I really believe they're going to trade him because I mean, he got the contract extension on the strength of LeBron, but I don't think they're going to keep him.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, but Houston sports 1-for-1 Rockets get Oladipo. The Nets, who are 2-0 since the trade. Harden got a triple double, so that's awesome. I guess that's what he went there for. He has a guy who he's playing with. Maybe he wanted to play with somebody who was better than him. I mean, think about it. Like maybe he was tired of being the best player on the team, and he tired of like always being the guy, and he wanted somebody else who was like equally or better than him. Because I mean, KD is an all around better player. We know this for sure. And James is my guy. I mean, like he's been with the Rockets for 8 years.
The past couple of days.
Yeah, that's my guy. I mean, he's been with the Rockets for 8 years. I was pretty surprised. I mean, I think people thought that I was going to jump ship, but I was like, why would I leave my team like for him where I didn't leave for T-Mac, I didn't leave for, whoever else came and gone. But it's like, that's for the casual fans. And I'm not that casual. Like I want to be casual, but I'm not that casual. But yeah, James is a really good player. We'll watch him Euro step for a couple more years.
Wow, he said
and hopefully, he retires and we'll still be using the Nets draft picks to start a new dynasty. But I like what I see from Oladipo so far. I like what I see from John Wall when he does play. I like what I see from Mason Jones. I mean, Houston sports is there. I just think that the Texans now are going to have to do the same thing that the Rockets are doing, which is it's time for a rebuild. It's time to say, hey, JJ, it's been great. I'm going to send you to the Bucks. I would love for JJ to be on the Bucks, honestly.
You would.
I really would. I think if he comes available and we can get him, it's time. It's JJ Watt time.
Speaking of time, we'll be right back with more debate amongst friends with the 2-minute drill right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of every show, we like to do what's called the 2-minute drill, where we go over stories and headlines that we didn't get a chance to cover during the show. This week, we learned that Chris Olave, wide receiver from Ohio State, is going to forego the draft, a projected number one pick, first round pick, will forego the 2021 NFL draft and return to Ohio State. Prof?
Thanks, Doc. The Atlanta Falcons announced on Tuesday that they hired their new general manager, Terry Fontenot. Back to you, Doc.
More college football news. The University of Tennessee is firing their head football coach, Jeremy Pruitt, following an investigation into potential recruiting violations within the program, where it was allegedly rumored that recruits were receiving money in McDonald's bags. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prof.
I'm not loving it. Fine Alama. Sarah Thomas, official within the NFL, will be making history this year as she becomes the first woman to officiate a Super Bowl. Back to you, Doc.
And that's all we have for today's show. It was really, really a great week of sports. Hopefully we get more. Stay tuned next week for more news, more analysis, and the read.